Damp rocks and fish boxes. The Whisky Tasting Game.
Now.
1, 2,
3,
4,
2,
5.
Did that make sense?
I did 3, 2, 1, down to 45. Hopefully that makes sense.
Did you do it, Ralph?
I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in time with...
Well, we'll see how that works. Okay. You all right? Hello and welcome to Damp Rocks and Fish Boxes, the Whisky Tasting Game. An intra-familial drinking contest where two brothers compete to be the nosiest whisky noser in the clan in order to take down the prize of a £150 bottle of single malt whisky. I'm your host, Joe Lindley, and with me are our competitors, Ralph Connolly.
Hello.
And Nathy Connolly.
Hello.
How are you doing, chaps?
Pretty good. Having a week off work this week, so that's, as ever, pretty nice.
Ooh, very good.
I'm having a week at work. Not so nice. But, got my raised beds done, so I'm happy. Going to get the courgettes and the carrots in this week. That's where I'm at in my life.
You're not leaving it a bit late for courgettes?
Look, Nathan, you stick to nosing whiskey and my garden's my affair. The romping pipers with the fishwives.
Yeah, it's a tapestry of rich individual experiences, isn't it?
Exactly. Getting your poetry out right there, Nathan. You're on fine form this evening, evidently.
Yeah, I think it's because I've been watching the snooker this week.
All right.
And picking it up from the lads in commentary.
Go on, give us your best poetic description of Stuart Bingham.
And he's approaching the table like a finely tuned car salesman. I need to work on that.
Right, I think on with the game, chaps, unless there's anything else we should discuss beforehand. Any orders of business?
No, just no cheating and keep it clean.
I don't think so. I'd like to, just so everyone's aware, because you two are, but it probably won't have made it into the podcast. I did spill some of mine, so I probably could do the handicap score this week. Oh, fuck. Oh, I've just spilt half of my next bloody whiskey.
Right, noted. Whining. No, I feel sorry for you, Nathan. It's always disappointing on multiple levels when you spill alcohol on yourself. Right. So, quickly recap how the game works and where we're at. The scores are Ralph 25, Nathy 23 for the series. As we said at the beginning, at the end of the series, the person with the most points takes down the prize, a £150 bottle of whiskey. To recap the rules, there's 5 points on the table for 3 key categories. That is intrigue, poetry, and accuracy. And then there's 1 point for each of the whiskey region, how old it is, which distillery it was from, and what its ABV strength is. And a bonus of 1 if you get all 4 of those right. As ever, the Damp Rocks and Fish Boxes rule bonus is up for grabs throughout, but only if it's deployed correctly. Any incorrect deployments will incur a penalty. Other than that, let's go. So get your noses in the whiskey.
Okay, eyeball time.
Flat beer, Nathan. What do you reckon?
It is fairly flat beery, actually. Well spotted.
To be honest, this is following on from last week's dram of hitting the cream notes is all I'm getting right now.
It's so for the audience at home, it's a clear amber liquid.
Oh, you're still on the looking at it. I've just gone straight in with the 2 nostrils. In I went.
So I'll have a check for legs as well while I'm at it, actually.
What would it tell you if there was legs, Nathan?
Good question, not a lot. There isn't actually any legs. So it could be this one I'm drinking out of a Turkish tea glass. So it could be the glassware.
Would you say your glass is important?
No.
They do say it's important, don't they, when you get the spiel?
Probably. But they say all sorts, don't they? I think, to be fair though, when I spilt that whiskey and I tried dabbing a bit off the desk, that tasted different. So I would have done it out of a glass.
There's that thing as well where if you have drunk some the night before, the glass smells kind of even more of the whiskey the morning after when there's nothing in it than it did when you were actually drinking it.
Oh, that sounds good. Where did you get that from?
Well,
Yeah, the pigeon's breath, as it's known, that.
pigeon's breath.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes, I've heard.
Okay. I'm saying citrus. Are you getting any citrus, guys? Nathy?
I am getting... Yeah, I'm getting a dash of citrus, lime. Do you know what I'm getting? Vanilla. Maybe a hint of pineapple.
It's quite, it's very subtle if it's anything this, or maybe that's just me being politely saying it's quite nondescript thus far. Bit of light fruit. Are you getting any kind of fresh fruits, pears, apples?
Do you know, I am getting apples. You're helping me out here, Ralph. I'm getting apples, heather.
Well, I'm not saying I've found those. I'm just asking if you found them. So
I'm getting a bit of babbling brook, actually, as well there. And salmon scale.
no, I don't think so. I am saying Corsten's Press in a lowland B&B after you've had your square lawn sausage. But the lawn sausage is not making it. It's just got a nice fruity vibe.
I can see where you're going with that. I'd say I'm going to say I could get a dash of pizza dough.
No pizza dough.
Freshly risen pizza dough. Christmas cake, maybe.
What, are you saying there's some dried fruit notes in here?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I thought, goes without saying, that's why I didn't bother saying it before.
Full on Christmas or more your kind of Eccles cake, sweet?
Yeah, fruit cake, I think, with a spiced fruit cake. Yeah, nutmeg, all that.
I'm not getting any spices. I'm sticking purely to the fruit. So I'll maybe give you a bit of dried fruit. I'll give you that. But
I'd forgotten we hadn't even tasted it yet. We're just waffling.
That's true, yeah.
Smelling it for about 5 minutes. I'm going to smell it and then save some adjectives.
I'm going to put it in my mouth, see what happens.
This looks like, I'd say, a 10-year from Joe's face. Unless his zoom's frozen. Oh, he's really enjoying that.
No, I can never do more than like 7 or 8 seconds, to be honest. Beyond that, honestly, this is going to sound a bit disgusting, but beyond that, the saliva which is generated in my mouth dilutes the whiskey so much that it detracts from the overall experience, and I nearly have to spit it out. So I'm sorry. But yeah, I would recommend swilling it round for 5 or 6 or maybe 7 seconds.
TMI, Joe.
On the palate, by the way, anyway, I'm getting... I want to say banana, but maybe that's a bit too much. I think I'm getting certainly sort of rich fruit, which is kind of banana. Possibly butterscotch. Sherry can? No, not sherry cask.
There's a bit of something though.
Dates? Is there any date in there, would you say?
No.
Let's have another shufty at it.
I'm not. I'm just basically getting quite fresh fruit. Frankly, I'm struggling to find anything to say about this whiskey.
It's quite oily. I think it's an oily whiskey. I think I'm getting maybe even olive oil. You know, certainly something cold pressed. Could be rapeseed.
If I could, just rehash a bit of whatever Nathan's poetry was getting out before. What was it about a car salesman? It's quite reliable. Maybe geography teacher. I'm putting it in that kind of bracket. It's okay.
This is the kind of whiskey you would give to your in-laws if you wanted to kind of impress them a bit, but you didn't want to. You know, you didn't want to waste your best stuff on them.
I wouldn't get this for Stan. He wouldn't like it.
Would you give it to your in-laws after they've listened to this podcast?
No, I'd get them something better. I think I'd go for a nice Lagavulin 16, one of the expensive ones, because I love them so much.
Yeah, of course, so would I. I have actually, the only time I've ever bought whiskey for my in-laws, I think this was before I drank whiskey, and I went round at Christmas and I was like shitting myself, so I was like, right, buy him all a decent present. And I did give him, I think it was a Talisker 10, it was a Talisker, I think, anyway. Which is pretty, thinking back, it's pretty ballsy for a first sort of, first Christmas. He's not had anything like that on me since.
But you still speak him.
Well, you're not doing bad, chaps. Have you any more to add, or do you want to?
Not really.
your
I think
guesses?
it's okay, but it's the geography teacher. Is that poetic?
I think there's something mysterious about it, though. I think.
Well, there's a bit of something in the back end I was getting, which I would put it down to something like nail varnish remover, which is just alcohol essentially. So, doesn't say much for my tasting and nosing. I'm not confident I'm on for a good score on any count. I've got no accuracy, no intrigue, no poetry, very little humour.
Doesn't sound like this one's inspiring you.
Yeah, bit flat compared to last week.
Yeah, it's quite a serious whiskey, isn't it? Just trying to think of something poetic to say about it, but I can't really. It's not lighting the fires of passion in my belly, I must say.
Come on, Joe, put us out of our misery.
Yeah, I think you should write down your guesses for region, age, distillery, and strength. Otherwise, it might push you over the edge, Ralph. It sounds like you're not enjoying it.
No, I won't say I'm not enjoying it. I just haven't got a lot to say about it. Whether that's the whiskey or me, I'm going to say I'll blame the whiskey, but I think it's probably me.
We'll see. I'm curious to see what you come up with. Ooh, the tension as the biros scribble on the tables.
Yeah, no fountain pens here. What was the final one? Oh, ABV.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Oh, ABV.
Right, I've got this in the bag.
Well, that would make it a hat trick for you. So that's that. I would be impressed. I'd probably also be fucking calling foul.
Okay, I can't read them, but you've written them down for evidence in case there's a dispute. You can just tell me one by one what you've come up with.
So, for region, I've gone Scotland. Can't argue with that.
Okay, not more specific.
No. 10 years, but again, I'm not based on anything other than just it could be 10 years. What's the distillery? Oh, yeah, geography teacher's regret. You heard of that one?
Yeah. It's a new one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of those, what they call them, craft distilleries. 40%. That's all I've got for you.
Okay, Nathy.
So I'm going to say Speyside for the region. Age, I think it's a 12, I think there's enough complexity in there for a 12. What are the Glens? I'm going to say Glen Budgie, but to be honest, I think it's probably a different Glen.
There's a lot of Glens.
And 40%.
Did you not think of Glen Farkless?
Oh, Glen Farkless.
Or
I didn't think of
Glen Moray.
Glen Moray. No, I didn't.
No.
Glen Budgie, I've got a soft spot for Glen Budgie.
Glenfiddich, Glen Kinchy.
Oh, well, there we are, Ralph. Glenfiddich. So that's what it was. It was
shit.
The famous Glenfiddich's 12-year-old. So let's have a quick recap of the scores. I think accuracy, honestly, you both did really well. Ralph, going to give you 5 out of 5 because you didn't go overboard at all. You said fresh fruit, pears, apples, cream, citrus, all totally on the nose. So that's good. Nathy, you did say a lot of the same stuff, but you threw a few kind of curveballs in there, like salmon scale, which is taking the edge off my certainty that you really were with this whiskey. But some highlights.
In my defence, though, let's see what you say when we go to intrigue. I think that got you thinking, didn't it?
It did, but I might have deducted more if some of your other stuff was further away. You also got oil, which is something that people say about this whiskey that Ralph missed, and mentioned spice, where black peppers in the official tasting notes.
Black pepper?
Yeah, to give you what maltreview.com say about this, they say green apples, white wine vinegar and caramel provide an inoffensive arrival. I think you probably agree with the inoffensive, don't you, Ralph?
Yeah.
Then barley drops bring sweetness alongside shortbread with lemon peel and a gentle vanilla caress. Cotton sheets and unsalted peanuts round off an oak presentation. And popcorn followed by stewed apples and caramel with some tartness as well. A slight uncouth bite of alcohol. You also got that, Ralph, on the fringes, and a touch of black pepper on the finish. So look, cut to the chase. Accuracy, Ralph, I'm going to give you 5. Nathy, I'm going to give you 4.
Can't argue with that.
Intrigue, not a lot going on here. I mean, we've got it's a geography teacher and give it to your in-laws. You did say something mysterious, Nathy, which is kind of intriguing.
Yeah, I thought so. I think, yeah, so the babbling brook and the salmon scale didn't pique your interest.
Did you say babbling brook? I never heard those words cross your lips.
Yeah, I think I did. I think I did it in conjunction with the salmon scale because I was thinking of the salmon, after their... I mean, I'm not going to start bringing poetry in at this late stage, but, the salmon after their sort of weary journey around the world, going back to their breeding spots.
Oh wow! I mean, I did miss that. I must confess. I was too distracted by the salmon scale.
Yeah, it was implicit, I think, in that. So yeah, maybe next time I need to just bring that out a bit more.
I think I'm almost tempted to give Ralph a bit of a bonus for how despondent the thing made him in terms of intrigue. He was saying there's no accuracy, no intrigue, no humour or poetry. Either way, I'm not great on that front. I'm going to give you both. About 2. You tried, but there's not a lot going on. There's nothing that intriguing about this whiskey. Poetry, again, thin on the ground. We had the Corsten Press in a lowland B&B after a square sausage, Ralph. Very nice indeed.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was accurate, but...
Yeah, I'm not sure it actually goes with the whiskey, like it's an attempt, but I think it's more like I fancied a whiskey in the B&B I was at and this is the only one they had. But again, that's not poetic.
All of those emotions.
All those emotions. Nathy, on the other hand, we have a dash of pizza dough, freshly risen beside a spiced Christmas cake with dried fruit. And I didn't even notice the babbling brook with the salmon swimming up it after its long journey across the Atlantic.
I think we've been here before. I forget whether it was Talisker or Highland Park or one of those other ones. It's a bit of bullshit on Nathy's part, I'd say. Over-egging the pudding.
Well, I think that's... Again, I mean...
Sorry, I'm just calling it out as I see it.
Yeah, that's pretty subjective, isn't it? That's not how I'd see it. I think, though, pizza dough... I mean, you might not have found it on the bottle, but that was pizza dough.
What, yeasty...
Yeah.
I mean, it has got a bit of a weird... I think I was back to my nail varnish vibes. It's got a bit of a strange finish to it, but... What do we think about... We're not scoring it yet, obviously, but it's a very interesting...
There's a hint of lighter fluid in there, isn't there?
It's very interesting having the Glenfiddich blind. I think it really conforms to what I kind of always thought about it, but maybe would have said if I knew what it was, that was probably what I would have said. But having had it blind, I've kind of said what I thought I would say, if that makes sense. That was a very long-winded way of saying it's kind of what I thought it'd be like.
Crystal clear, Ralph. Crystal clear.
I think you didn't think you'd rate it. And have you had it before?
When I was pretty pissed in a pub, because it's the... I don't know if it's like the original. They like to sell themselves as the original single malt whiskey or whatever. I don't think that's strictly true, but it's the one. It's in most pubs, restaurants, bars, whatever around the world. I think it's the highest selling single malt by some way. But it's not. I mean, it's not bad. But
How much is it a bottle?
It depends if you can get it. Mid-30s if it's on expensive, or no, mid-20s on offer.
I'd say, I mean, it's the kind of whiskey I've bought it, and I would buy it again, but I'd probably only buy it if it was down around the 25 quid mark, and there was nothing else that I thought was better.
So you can get it, right? Just to update, 27 quid on Amazon.
27 from Amazon. Back on the pizza dough, I think you're actually onto something there. That weird combination of the spiritiness of it, or the weird sort of chemically acetone, I think, combined with the maltiness, does give you that kind of essence of sourdough pizza, specifically sourdough. It's got that weird wild yeast.
Ooh, I didn't think of that. Well, I was just thinking conventional pizza dough with
here's the thing.
lighter fluid.
Sourdough pizza, I think, is one of those another pile of horse shit. It's a thing in bread. It's you get it in pizza, but it's not really fucking noticeable, to be honest, in my view. But anyway, what we're talking about, you getting pizza dough, is this on the nose or on the taste?
I got it on the taste.
Oh, I got it on the nose. Shows what we know.
Well, it's nice to compare notes, isn't it?
It is. So this puts me in the challenging position of marking your poetry. I think Corsten Press, 2. Nathy's dash of pizza dough,
1.
no.
Come off the fence, Joe. Give it a 3.
I'm tempted to give it 3. Actually, I'll give it a 3. Yeah, you tried hard with that. You tried hard. And in terms of the actual specifics, Ralph, Scotland. All right,
That's not Irish, is it?
The thing is, if this was any other country, I think maybe, and you were tasting it blind, I'd give you a point for getting the country.
No, I think that's fair enough. It's a given. I think it's well established that we're only really drinking Scottish whiskies at this stage of the game. That might change, I don't know. But yeah, I'll happily take no points for that. That's fine.
No points for that. No points for the age.
Do I get a bonus for fair play?
You get a bonus for fair play, no, but I will give you a point for geography teacher's regret instead of that bonus. And 40% you're right. So you're getting 2 on that. Nathy, Speyside, 12, 40, so you're getting 3. Not going Glenn Budgie.
Can I get a half point for Glenn because it's a Glenn?
Good effort, good try, but no. Ralph, 11, Nathy, 12. Well done, Nathy. That's narrowing the gap to 1.
It's nice now I've gone back to it again. I do this every episode. I keep swigging while you're doing your thing, and I come back to it and go, oh, that's a lot nicer than it was when I first started swigging it. So apologies, but I
think maybe proper whiskey tasters and nosers spend a good amount of time with the whiskey and sort of let their thoughts and their feelings about it percolate, and maybe even the whiskey's changing in the glass.
I think there is something in that.
Yeah, it's the 20-minute show that we've got to squeeze it into. It does impair your being able to really take your time with it, doesn't it?
Do you want to increase the, go for a longer format?
No, I don't. I think we were dragging it out enough as it was, but
you want to compete with our competitors? That doesn't make sense, but the other ones that are out there, they're substantially longer.
Yeah, we did say that we try and make a slightly shorter whiskey-themed podcast than most of the other whiskey podcasts out there, but maybe the moral of this story is we should increase the length to an hour. Maybe not.
No.
So, what about the whiskey? What are we scoring it on the famous 1 to 5 scale?
I'm reluctant to give it a 3.
I give it a 2. I just go straight in at a 2. It's all right.
Yeah, I would definitely not a 3. I'd maybe, if I was pushed to say, possibly a high 2, but no. But I was saying Highland Park could be high 2. No, this is definitely a firm 2.
Yeah, no argument here. It's not bad enough to be a 1. It's not good enough to be a 3. So it's 2. It's 2. All right, Glenfiddich, 12-year-old, 2 points. So what have we learned this week?
Glenfiddich's okay.
Yeah, Glenfiddich's all right.
If Glenfiddich was going to be a cryptic crossword clue, where Glenfiddich was the answer, what would the question be?
Great question.
Well, I mean, it's a hell of an anagram, that, isn't it? If you wanted to go down the anagram route, but fuck knows.
This bit of dick, as in
dick,
German
fat,
yeah, dick.
German for fat, or ick,
or just British cock.
So you could do sounds like.
Sounds like geography. Geography teachers are probably called Glenn, aren't they?
Could have a Glen Hoddle.
Glenfiddich.
Yes.
Is that what's in the Scottish people?
Hoddles.
Say fi. What does that mean? The Scottish people. That was a bit. Well, I don't know what it was, but it wasn't okay, was it?
No, Ralph, it was not okay.
Problem with Glen is they're going to come back. There's going to be more than a few Glens.
You could do something about Sebastian Coe and make it Glen Coe, so something about a massacre, something about Olympic corruption.
I mean, this is pretty laboured, but
I stick with. Where's the Fiddick in that?
We're just on Glen at the moment.
I just do Hoddle. Hoddles. Everyone knows who Hoddle is. I know it's a bit of a lame cryptic crossword clue, but Hoddles.
Well, in musical terms, Hoddle's strong cock. It sounds like. There you go.
That sounds good.
Because is FF Joe? You do music, no?
Yeah, it means forte, loud, very loud.
Strong, is that strong? All right. Hoddle's loud cock, it sounds like. There you go.
Okay, we'll check that with the lawyers that we don't have and put that as the title. Very good. So I guess just finish with a couple of caveats. First of all, drinking alcoholism really can be a problem. So we're trying to drink responsibly. You probably don't always succeed, but we try our best. And if you think you have some kind of drink problem or other mental health issue, then do seek help. Around alcohol, there's Alcoholics Anonymous and local drug and alcohol services. And if you have no other option, then feel free to speak to us. Secondarily, we don't really know what we're on about or how to make a podcast, but hopefully some of it makes some sense and is enjoyable. Otherwise, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.